This is the 12th year the Botanical Gardens are putting on Chef in the Garden, and as you can tell, it's a sold-out crowd. 5 Democrats hoping to be the next president battled it out on the CNN debate stage last night in Las Vegas. So the newly popular Pavilion and Frank Lloyd Wright House could be a success. Well, as winter gets closer and the weather starts to change, organizations like the Salvation Army are preparing to provide aid to those living on the streets.
I'm live outside of the Washington County Courthouse as voting day is coming to an end.
Fayetteville's most famous landmark might be Old Main here on the University of Arkansas, but one local site literally rises above the rest. Our own Christopher Redfern has more. And tonight, Beauty and the Beast will have its final act with a sold-out crowd. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Megan Bedenikovic, UATV.
With the avocado and goat cheese mix.
Local chefs from around Northwest Arkansas are spending their evening at Chefs in the Garden fundraiser to show off their best dishes.
It is good, very good.
Every year, restaurants donate time and food to help raise money for the Botanical Gardens. And again this fall, U of A's Professor Kelly Way shows her support.
Great fundraiser to benefit something beautiful in Northwest Arkansas.
The Botanical Gardens is all nonprofit and is kept up with sponsorship and donations. And occasions like Chefs in the Garden are incredibly beneficial to the program.
Every time somebody purchases a membership or attends an event like this, the outcome, as you can see, is quite beautiful.
Way says this isn't her first time helping the cause because the Gardens is such an important part of her life.
I'm really connected to the Gardens. I've grown to love it out here. It's beautiful, it's peaceful.
Way also decided to invite her students to help volunteer. One of Way's graduate students, Kyle Shunke, says this is his first year in attendance.
We just wanted to come out and help, and so that's why we're here.
This is the 12th year the Botanical Gardens are putting on Chef in the Garden, and as you can tell, it's a sold-out crowd.
Botanical Gardens is obviously a great place.
All of the money goes towards the gardens for educational purposes. One of the most popular activities for children is experiencing how to plant and harvest food and learning about nutrition.
That contributes to their livelihood and their well-being.
The Gardens wouldn't be able to have these learning seminars without fundraisers like Chefs in the Garden. The exhibit is a reconstruction of Frank Lloyd Wright's house with a pavilion for an entryway. The display strictly focuses on unique architecture, specifically inspired by Arkansas native Faye Jones. Jones was originally motivated from Frank Lloyd Wright himself.
The collaboration seemed to make sense because of the connection with Faye Jones.
Jones also inspired the original designer of Crystal Bridges.
So there are these layers of connections and opportunities for education around that.
Education? Definitely. The inspiration of the house in the pavilion is from Wright and Jones, but the fabrications of the well-liked pavilion are from none other than U of A students.
With Frank Lloyd Wright's own philosophy, he wanted people to be practitioners. He wanted them to not only design the building, but use their hands and pick up a hammer and nail and get involved in the construction.
Architecture students did countless hours and put in long nights in this building right here, putting together models, creating designs, so the newly popular Pavilion and Frank Lloyd Wright House could be a success.
It was a natural fit.
These scholars were inspired not only by Wright and Jones, but by the professor who helped them during the project.
It was really wonderful to see that whole process emerge.
Santiago Perez was the leader for the project and spent multiple semesters working with these undergraduates to put together the unique pavilion.
There was a lot of grinding and cutting and bending, and for the most part it was all hand cut and hand assembled.
He's satisfied of his own work, but more importantly, proud of his students.
We're able to see the things that everyone had worked on for so long actually being assembled on site, and everyone was really thrilled to see that happen.
Once all the models were put together, the students didn't stop at designing the piece, but they also came together to build it. Professor Perez says his students were enthusiastic to get the opportunity to work on this project and are thankful for the doors it will open for their futures. Rising sea levels are causing more flooding than ever before and bringing more people from the Marshall Islands to Springdale.
Saying, hey, don't forget about us here. You know, we're at the forefront of climate change, and we need your help.
Davis says the Marshallese first started coming to Northwest Arkansas about 30 years ago, following one man's example.
John Moody, who moved here to go to college, and he discovered a community with plenty of work for people who didn't necessarily need to speak English well or have a high level of education.
Today, people are coming for many of the same reasons. U of A Marshallese student Josiana Chongum says people from the Marshall Islands understand the benefits available in Northwest Arkansas.
We're here for better health care, schooling, job opportunities.
Researchers estimate there are 10,000 Marshallese in Springdale, but Gum says she is only one of 3 on Fayetteville's campus. The Marshallese lifestyle is different than the stereotypical American way. Gum says that makes it a bit more difficult to branch out and go to college.
It's very different compared to the Marshallese culture. I would say a little scary to some Marshallese who come here. It was for me.
Davis says that people in Northwest Arkansas are doing a good job at accepting Marshallese culture, and any negative notions are brought on by a lack of understanding of cultural differences.
Our history is like very rich and our culture is very rich, but not a lot of people know about it.
From flash flooding to fire damage, the owners here at Pizza Plus in Lincoln County have really seen some bad luck. The business was on the verge of reopening after the owners spent weeks cleaning up a mess left by flooding. Then, a severe fire started early this morning. The owners haven't been allowed inside yet, but say they've never seen anything like this since they bought Pizza Plus in 2003. The fire department is investigating the incident now, but says it's too early to know a cause. Luckily, no one was hurt. For News Channel 5, I'm Megan Beninikovic. Greek houses decorated, banners hung. That's what people see on campus during homecoming week. But what about 20 years ago, or even 90 years ago? I got a chance to learn about some of the traditions at the U of A whenever they first started in the 1920s, and some of those are still around today. Take a look. Reporting live at the stadium, I'm Megan Beninikovic, UATV. I'm live outside of the Washington County Courthouse as voting day is coming to an end. Today is the last day to vote for Ordinance 5781. And For Fayetteville was on campus today at the Union all day. They were informing students about what was going on, the ordinance, and the whole voting process. And after they casted their votes, they offered a free ride home. I talked to a spokesperson for Fayetteville. His name is Kyle Smith, and he told me that a lot of students knew about the ordinance. In fact, most of them knew about it, but a lot of them didn't know that today was the last day to vote for the ordinance. In downtown Fayetteville, I'm Megan Beninikovic, UATV. Starting August of 2016, guns will be allowed on the University of Texas campus. Teachers, students, parents, alumni, and members of the community held a forum to hash out where the gun should be allowed on campus. Others expressed concern over a possible uptick in student suicide rates. Supporters of the law expressed the rationale for having guns on campus. We start tonight with a second report in a week of a pedestrian being hit by a car on campus. According to Captain Gary Crane of UAPD, a student was walking across a crosswalk on Razorback Road when he was hit. The student was transported to Washington Regional Medical Center with injuries that were not life-threatening. Crane says today's accident was caused by 2 distracted people and warns all drivers and pedestrians to be cautious when walking through campus. Scooters are the most visible motor vehicle on campus, and as they are easy to drive, they are also easy to steal. A new report shows an increase of 45 reports of stolen scooters on campus since January. This represents an 80% increase comparing to last year's statistics. According to Sergeant Craig Stout, this crime is one of the most popular crimes in Fayetteville because students don't know how to secure them properly. UATV will be right back. We are closing in on the home stretch of the fall semester, and students are beginning to feel the pressure of final exams fast approaching. A few tips for tackling finals are making a priority list, managing your time, and most importantly, do not procrastinate. And if you need some lights inspiration, one local family has done Christmas lights big for the last 12 years. Carlin Stewart, owner of the Stewart Family Light Display, spoke with us earlier today and said he hasn't reached his final goal, but he enjoys the support of the community. The light display goes from 5:30 to 9:30 every night. The display started with about 3,000 lights and 2 inflatables and now has over 200,000 lights and over 200 inflatables. I'm Megan Beninikovic. Have a great night.